Yo, what is going on, everyone in the crypto space? Thank you guys for tuning in the channel today. Really do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and let's discuss the matters of R3. And essentially what they have created is an xRapid 2.0, or essentially what I like to call a second xRapid, as well as R3 integrating XRP within their product is pretty much now I can consider an R3 like a second Ripple, another significantly sized company with a pretty good client list, about 200 clients, investing on top of the ecosystem, to where now we're seeing XRP being exposed to close to 400 institutions, give or take some based on the similarities in clients, because Ripple and R3, they do share some clients together. But if you kind of just round it up, if you take Ripple, who's investing heavily on top of the XRP ecosystem, and now R3, who is investing heavily on top of the XRP ecosystem, now we're looking at about a total of almost 400 clients that have the potential to use XRP. So it's seriously exciting stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss a little bit of a backstory so you guys can know the history of R3 and Ripple, and then the news today and how that seriously, I mean, guys, really benefits the XRP ecosystem and is a huge step forward in the ubiquity of the ecosystem. So let's go ahead. Let's not delay any further. Let's get right into it. So back in October of 2016, you can see here, Ripple and R3 team up with 12 banks to trial XRP for cross-border payments. Again, I think XRP has been under testing a lot longer than we have thought, because, I mean, just look back into data. I think there was one company, I think it may have been Santander, or, don't quote me on it or anything, but it was this one, I believe it was Santander. They actually started using Ripple back in like 2015. So I believe, kind of a little off topic, I mean, I believe that this stuff has been under trial a lot longer than we have once thought. But anyways, back in 2016, Ripple and R3, they team up together, and back in 2016, Ripple and R3, they were both really good buddies. They signed a contract for 5 billion XRP at $0.008 per XRP, and the whole agreement was that they would sell R3 that a huge amount of XRP, like I think it was either 5 or 6 billion XRP, for essentially half a penny, and in return for that, R3 would have to represent Ripple in front of big clients and help Ripple, really help Ripple grow their company and represent them. But what ended up happening was that R3 did not keep up to all their big promises that they did make, as well as R3 did break an NDA. It was stated by Ripple in court that R3, they did discuss the matter with other companies that they were not supposed to be discussing. Again, that's why in the beginning of all of this lawsuit with Ripple and R3, I already knew from the get-go there was no way R3 could really win this case, because they broke the most simple form of an agreement between two businesses called the non-disclosure agreement. And they broke that, and they were discussing things with other companies they were not supposed to discuss. They did it on a public manner as well. And also, R3 did not keep up to their promises of, helping Ripple, or representing them in front of really big name clients. So fast forward to now, this is where we have, in court, like recently, very, very recently, about a month ago, Ripple and R3, they all of a sudden, snap of the fingers, they came to a settlement agreement, and it was not exposed what was part of the agreement. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the court case, it's all hot and heavy. They're going after each other in court, and all of a sudden, one day it comes out, they came to a settlement, and there's no winners or losers in court. They just came to an agreement and decided to dismiss the court case. And all of a sudden, I mean, me personally, I feel like I did spark a lot of speculation about what could be part of that contract. One thing I did say about a month ago was maybe this has to do something with R3 and Ripple working together to use XRP, and that actually did come to fruition today. Also, I do think what's really important to note is I do think one big catalyst for this happening is Yoshitaka Kitao. So Ripple and R3, they both work very heavily into the SBI Ripple Asia project, and Yoshitaka Kitao, he was even saying like, hey, I think R3 and Ripple should set apart their differences and just work together to collaborate on this technology. And I think Yoshitaka Kitao really did pull it. He got R3 and Ripple to kind of end their hissy fit in court, and they came to a settlement agreement. Now, although out of that settlement agreement, it did come for the utility of XRP. If you guys do remember recently, we have seen a lot of XRP. I think we saw 800 million XRP go to escrow. And then prior to that, we saw 40 5 million XRP transactions going into escrow. And I was also speculating back then that might be actually going to R3 because through that settlement in if, like, let's say R3 did get some XRP out of that settlement, which I'm sure they did because they're going to utilize it. Since R3 got XRP out of that settlement, I bet you Ripple wants to give it to them in the form of an escrow to ensure healthy XRP markets. So fast forward to today, the big reason why this is honestly just massive news. R3, they come out today and say R3 launches universal settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda. XRP, the first settlement mechanism. So it also says here R3 launches universal settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda. XRP is the first settlement mechanism. Corda settler built to ensure seamless settlement of payments on Corda across any payment scheme. So this is actually officially called Corda Settler. So Corda Settler is essentially xRapid 2.0. So here's the thing, Corda Settler, it is an R3 product that just came out today. And by the way, guys, this is a live product. This was just launched today. This isn't like the announcement of some beta of they're going to integrate XRP. Like, XRP is integrated with this platform and is going to be used for settlement across 200 clients. Now, before we get into that massive client list with some exciting names, let me go ahead and say this. So Corda Settler is not exclusively using XRP for crypto, for settlement. Just like xRapid, I'm not trying to spread FUD, but if Ripple really wanted to use another coin for xRapid, they could. It's entirely possible because the network's completely interoperable, but they don't because XRP is obviously the greatest digital asset ever created, and it makes the most sense for actual settlement transfer because it's instant and extremely cheap, not even a penny. It's less than a penny, less than half of a penny for cost. So Corda Settler, again, it's not exclusively built around XRP like xRapid is. It can use other cryptocurrency, but again, guys, if banks are going to be using tokens for settlement, you think they're going to use a centralized China token that takes hours to settle and costs dollars and can sometimes cost upwards of $10 to $20 to complete a transaction? No, they're going to use the asset that is being engaging with regulators, working with banks, and can settle in pretty much 3 seconds at fractions of a penny of cost. So now what happened is that Corda Settler has now deployed, so see what it says right here. The deployment of the Corda Settler and its support for XRP as the first settlement mechanism is an important step in showing how the powerful ecosystems cultivated by the two of the world's most influential crypto and blockchain communities can work together. So it says, while the settler will be open to all forms of crypto and traditional assets, like I just stated, this demonstration with XRP is the next logical step in showing how widespread acceptance and use of digital assets to transfer value and make payments can really be achieved. So again, it's not exclusive, but it is adopting XRP first, so I'm sure that's going to be the most dominant form of the digital asset. That's going to be the most dominant digital asset in terms of actually using a digital asset for settlement. So now, guys, what we're seeing, we are essentially seeing a second Ripple. Now, let me explain. We're seeing a second Ripple and a second xRapid, because here's why. Ripple, they create a software that integrates with XRP, and then they license that software to banks. R3, exact same thing. I mean, they almost have the same amount of clients as Ripple. So R3, they created a software called Corda Settler, and that's integrated with XRP for settlement, and now R3 can pitch that to all their current clients right now. And also, they can pitch it to, it's not just their, right now what we're considering is just their current clients, not even the clients that they could be potentially discussing with right now. And more clients might want to hop on just because of the fact they are utilizing digital assets to get the 70-90% savings. It's truly brilliant. So R3, the reason why I'm so excited is because this is basically a second Ripple. This is a second company to go out there, help the ecosystem grow, license these products out to banks and institutions, and let them use XRP through the ecosystem. So R3, they are building their own platform on top of the XRP ecosystem, just like xRapid. It's literally a second Ripple. They're going to pretty much do the exact same thing that Ripple does. Have a product, it's integrated with XRP, and they license it to banks for use. Exactly what Ripple's doing. So we're literally seeing a second Ripple building on the ecosystem and helping the network just entirely grow. Again, now you want to get really excited, look at Ripple's client, or look at R3's client list. I'll go through a little bit slowly, but you can already see, one, that's a lot of clients. Two, there are quite a bit of big names there. You got Wells Fargo, Westpac, UBS, SBI, this is the Indian SBI, not the Japanese SBI, the Indian SBI, LG, Huawei, which is like the iPhone of China, ING, Dutch banking giant, Intel, HSBC, Google Cloud, Citibank, CIBC, and then also HSBC, Hewlett Packard, And the one I am definitely the most excited for is Amazon Web Services. Now, back in the day when I first got into XRP, you know, you guys, how there's like the Riddle hype, like the Swift hype, the Coinbase hype. Basically, no, I'm not like, you know, shaming any of those things, but basically when I say hype, I mean that's just something that's really being talked about through the community a lot. And back then, all-time high, Coinbase being listed, or XRP being listed on Coinbase was like the biggest topic. And then 2 months ago, Ripple and Swift partnering was like the biggest topic. And then now it's kind of like, you know, the Riddle thing is like one of the biggest topics right now. Back when I first got in, one of the biggest topics in the community was the Amazon speculation. There was a lot of hype around Amazon because of really how many times Ripple would use Amazon in presentations, but they would never name drop them as a client. However, in this one little interview with Brad, if you guys have been here since, you know, like the Amazon hype days, you know what I'm talking about. When Brad had that girl interview him who was from Ripple and they asked about Amazon, she like winked at him when talking about Amazon. That just made the whole community go like, holy crap, this is gotta be a confirmed partnership. Also, Ashish Birla, if you look back at my channel from like 4 months ago, you'll see that I do have a video about Ashish Birla talking about Amazon, and he really sort of makes it sound like they're a client. But either way, now guys, we have a company who created a product that's going to utilize XRP and can now be used within all of these clients. So essentially, we can say that Ripple has almost 200 clients, but XRP has a total of about 400 clients of exposure. Now, you know, these businesses aren't saying, hey, you know, we want to use the new core accelerator because it literally just came out. But again, if you're R3 and you come out with a new product using digital assets for savings, what do you think you're going to let all your clients know about? And guys, these are some seriously big name clients. And the way I'm seeing it is that I'm seeing a potential 400 users of the XRP ecosystem. That's what I'm really seeing this as. This is a second Ripple. This is like taking Ripple and just copying and pasting it into another company, and they're going to be building their own platform as well. So literally, guys, what R3 is doing, R3 is like another Ripple, and they built xRapid 2.0. It's not better than xRapid or anything, but it's just a second version of xRapid, and it's another platform that uses XRP being built on top of the XRP ledger and ecosystem, and is now going to be pitched to hundreds of clients. So I could say this officially, XRP has 400 potential users. You take R3's 200 clients, Ripple's almost like 200 clients. They haven't specified a specific number, but they say they are close to 200 production contracts. So we take R3's 200 members, Ripple's almost 200 production contracts. We're looking at 400 potential users of the XRP ecosystem. So I find it absolutely brilliant that R3 has now taken the initiative to settle their differences and utilize XRP on their own platform so they can literally do exactly what Ripple's doing. Imagine, this is basically, think of it this way. This is two Ripples both working in 6th gear at the same time. So the XRP ecosystem is now, I could say, is going to be adopted as twice as fast because we have two of the same size companies pitching pretty much the same product. I'm pumped, guys. So, just some closing statements. So yeah, SBI, I believe, was the real catalyst for this to happen. And they're both, and what's interesting is Ripple and R3, they're both about the same, you know, same size company. And also, guys, one thing to consider, one thing I do want you guys to take a question out of this video is SAP, Temenos, and Taz Group gonna take the same steps? Are they going to follow? Because again, Ripple is working with SAP and Temenos and Taz Group, like it's 100% confirmed, no doubt about it. So Ripple and R3, at its fundamental core, they are banking software companies, or I should say institutional software companies. What is Taz Group? What is Temenos? And what is SAP? They are all banking software companies. Will they take the same steps as Ripple and R3 and create a platform to integrate XRP to give to their clients? Because in the end, guys, Ripple and R3, they're institutional software companies. And SAP, Temenos, and Taz Group, they are all the same exact thing. In its fundamental core, they are software companies. So I wonder, now we have Ripple and R3 creating platforms for the XRP ecosystem. Will Taz Group, SAP, and Temenos follow? Because they all are confirmed to be working with Ripple or XRP at some level. So interesting question I want you guys to take from this is, will Temenos and SAP and Taz Group follow? That would be interesting to know, because now we have two pretty good sized companies in terms of clients building on top of the XRP ecosystem. So now, guys, we're really seeing the XRP ecosystem growing at twice the rate. Last thing I do want to state, make sure, do go ahead and give R3 a follow on Twitter. And guys, this video is not sponsored by R3. I'm just, super pumped out there building on top of the XP ecosystem. And what's funny is, a while ago, the big FUD was, hey, is R3 competition to Ripple? And look what came out of it. They are now building on top of the XRP ecosystem and going to help the network grow twice as fast as it is now. Absolutely insane. Again, guys, just look at that client list. Those are some juicy names right there. Especially, I don't want to get our hopes up because, it's not official Amazon, but dude, having a subsidiary of Amazon with a company that's now integrating XRP, I mean, Amazon would just be that would just be the holy grail of partnership. So anyways, guys, make sure do follow R3 on Twitter, because now that they are integrated, they've integrated Corda Settler, aka xRapid, with XRP. Now, when we do see R3 tweet out or publish on their blog about new partners, now it can sort of relate to us, because if R3, let's say, establishes an official partnership with JP Morgan, then we can kind of assume that that there might be something there with the XP ecosystem and R3 and JP Morgan, because however, if they do become a client and R3 is utilizing XRP, you can kind of see where I'm going. The chances are pretty high. So make sure you follow R3 Corda on Twitter so we can stay tuned with some updates for them. But basically, guys, what we're basically seeing now, to summarize it all up, we are going to be seeing the XP ecosystem be adopted at twice the speed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, check the links in the description if you want to support the channel. Get yourself Nano S, keep that cryptocurrency nice and safe. And make sure to turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video or stream. And as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Always appreciate your insight. And I'll see you guys in the next one.